Welcome, Central Texas, to our town, Clifton.
In this week's Our Town Clifton, we take you to a small but mighty town with a whole lot of pride. I took a trip downtown to find out where classic Western heritage and modern urban life meet the road.
You can walk downtown and you can see the old rings that are bolted or concreted into the sidewalks to hold the horses' reins as people pull up back in the way early 1900s.
Literal evidence of cowboy culture that still lines the sidewalks of downtown Clifton today. Haley Sanders, Main Street Manager and Community Development Director, shares how the city was shaped.
Historically, we have always been a place of gathering for the farmers and ranchers. Maybe they come to town to grab supplies.
In these black and white photos, the businesses in Old Town Clifton catering to all the folk working hard on the land.
We had mercantiles downtown, all the essentials downtown.
Especially sustenance after a long day's work of cultivating crops and raising livestock.
When you're in the field, you want a quick bite to eat.
And all that was here, in town, right at their disposal. Fast forward to Clifton today.
We love breaking bread. We love Olaf's corner drug, more of a something that you would feel if you went into your grandma's kitchen and she whipped up a meal for you. It's super fresh. It's something that kind of warms your heart.
Paige Key, president of the Clifton Chamber of Commerce, gives me the grand tour of this hospitable town.
Everybody waves and talks to each other.
We peruse a few shops.
Decorations, interior designing, flowers.
And the choices are endless.
You can find just about anything you need in Clifton at one of our stores.
You can find antiques, home goods, local produce, modern retail items with that Western flair, and even beef from the local farmers. There's even something in the air here that's as delightful and delectable as it gets.
A huge common question that I get all the time when people come downtown is, what's that smell? And it's our molasses plant. I always tell people, I'm like, Clifton's sweeter than molasses. You know, you come here, the people are sweet, the pastries are sweet.
And here in Clifton's Heritage Plaza, a poignant tribute to the Western heritage, a sculpture of a cowboy on horseback during the cattle drive era.
We still respect our farmers and ranchers in this town. We understand what they do. We respect what they do.
So let's tip our cap to all the work folk out there and for this charming little town of Clifton that continues to keep the spirit of the West alive. Well, that spirit is what defines the experience in historic downtown Clifton. There's a lot of deep history that makes our town Clifton a great place to live and do business. And one of those is a great place to go watch a show. Our Vince Erickson joins us live in Clifton for our continuing Our Town Clifton special reports. Vince.
MG, thank you so much. You know, so many unique treasures here in our town, Clifton, including the venue where we are right now. This is the Maven. It's in downtown Clifton. It is a place where you can have large parties, small parties. You can see folks back here having a good time doing what they do. You can also have meetings here, just part of the great atmosphere here in downtown Clifton and the heart of downtown Clifton. Now, not far away is the Cliftex Theater, and that is where the big screen takes on a historic, unique place. Let's take a look at the Cliftex right there. It has been operating continuously since 1916, and that holds the title of the oldest movie theater in continuous operation in the Lone Star State. It was recently restored to its stunning 1935 appearance, and the Cliftex combines historic charm with a modern digital projection, bringing first-run features, classic films, and special events to our community. For showtimes and complete information on this historic landmark, you can find links to the Cliftex Theater and the City of Clifton websites in this story at fox44news.com. Right now, we do have someone who knows a thing or two. Damaris, come on over here. Damaris Neely is the mayor of Clifton, and she knows a thing or two about Clifton, about where it's been and where it's going. She has deep roots here, and she is here to join us live. Damaris, so glad to have you here.
Thank you, Vincent. We appreciate it so much.
It's our pleasure to be here. Now, it has been your pleasure to see Clifton grow the way it has. What have you seen from the time that you've been here to where we are now in Clifton?
Well, we moved here in 1995. Before that, but I began working for the city in 1995 as the Main Street manager, and a downtown that was dead at that time. And since then, almost every building has been touched with revitalization. We have an energy. The people in Clifton are amazing, and there's always something to do.
And you got to see a lot of that in MG Montemayor's story earlier here on Fox 44 News. Let's talk about where Clifton is going with the momentum that you have, with all that you have here. Where do you see Clifton going in the next year, 10 years, 30 years?
Well, we have so much going for us. We have our arts. We're a cultural arts district. We're a retirement community. We have an amazing school district. Our downtown and all our retails and shops. Clifton is growing. And not only growing with residents, but growing with people that visit. And we would love for everybody to come and visit us. And if you love it, come and move in with us.
Exactly. So what is it about the people here, the people like what we have behind us here, here at the Maven, that makes Clifton such a special place to live and do business?
Clifton is the type of town that everybody comes together. And anytime somebody needs something, we're here to help. And our community is the same way. We're not just a city limit. We are a whole community.
Damaris, Neely, thank you so much for joining us. Great perspective for our town, Clifton.
Great.
Pleasure to have you here with us. You know what? This great town of Clifton downtown is really hopping right now. And it's hopping at our venue right now. We are at the Maven here in downtown. You can see folks are filing in here. We have Paige Key, you just heard from, and we're going to hear from you in a second. But you can see this is one of the great places for if you want to have a meeting here. You can have small parties, big parties. The Maven is one of the places to be. Now, our guest right now, you just saw her in MG's story right there. This is Clifton Chamber of Commerce President Paige Key to talk about downtown development and where Clifton has been and where Clifton is going to go. Paige, so great to have you here live.
Thank you, Vince.
What is your take on the growth of Clifton from what you've seen, the collaborations that you've had with Main Street, with the city, with the heritage of what goes on, and everything that makes Clifton great?
Well, in 1995, we became a Main Street community, and the Clifton Chamber of Commerce and the city all worked together over the last 30 years to revitalize downtown.
And downtown certainly revitalized, certainly bustling. Where do you see Clifton going in the next 30 years to keep it the way it is? A great place to live and a great place to do business.
Well, I think we're going to grow. I look forward to bringing in more residents and businesses over the next 30 years.
I got you. What do you think about all these folks here coming here to see everything and really make our town Clifton a really great event?
I think it's wonderful that we have such a residential support of residents and businesses.
Wonderful. Paige Key, President of the Clifton Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much for being here. We've certainly enjoyed it, and all the best in continuing making Clifton a great place to live and do business.
Thank you for having us.
You betcha. Our pleasure. Paige Key with us here live. Local Clifton influencer, Brett Voss, who has backgrounds in education, in journalism, and also in the arts community. Brett, so glad to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Vince.
You have a great perspective on all the different parts of the Clifton community. What's your take on putting all those together, the education, the sports community, and the arts, and what make Clifton such a special place to live?
Well, I think, part of that stems from the fact that it's such a unique community in and of itself with the art community and everything. I mean, there are people here that really care about Clifton being special. And for the longest time, we've been one of the best kept secrets in the heart of Texas, but I guess you're doing a little something about that tonight, aren't you?
Exactly. And, there's so many great places to visit here, great reasons to call Clifton home. What are some of the ones that really are close to your heart?
Well, of course, you've talked about a lot of them, the BAC and the museum, but for me, the Cliftex Theater is really special. We founded the Bosque Film Society about 5 years ago, and it is the longest continuously operating theater in Texas, but we've just recently got it recognized as the 11th longest running in the U.S. and the 16th in the world. So that makes it a pretty special thing right out here for us.
So you've got not only top in Texas, top in the nation, et cetera. That has to be a really special designation.
It really is, and and we stress that to everybody that comes to the theater because we want them to realize it's been restored to the 1930s look, and we want them to know they're taking a step back in history.
Brett Voss, local influencer, thank you so much for joining us here, and continue the great work with Cliftex and all the way around.
All right, thank you, Vince.
You betcha. Thank you, Brett.
Well, our town Clifton continues with a historical road trip. inspired by the deep Norwegian roots of those who settled in Clifton and Bosque County, and some of their descendants still call Clifton home. Our Vince Erickson joins us live in Clifton for a special look at the historic Memorial Highway and what some of the people with deep ties to the early settlers have to say about their heritage that the highway honors. Vince.
MG, thank you so much. You know, everything is big here in Texas, including some of the capitals of the state, and we are in Clifton, which is the Norwegian capital of Texas, if you will. And the Norwegian influence is great here, and it's also great here at the Maven, our setting for tonight's Our Town Clifton coverage live. You can see some of the folks that may have some Norwegian roots, some of them may not, but the Maven is a great place for gatherings, for meetings, for big parties like what we have going on right here, or even small parties in downtown Clifton. Now, you have such great variety with that Norwegian influence in downtown Clifton, in the countryside. But what makes it really special here in Clifton? Well, it's the people that call Our Town Clifton home. And specifically, why? Well, it's those Norwegian roots that in Clifton run so deep.
My family first came to Bosque County in 1870.
I'm kin to all of the early immigrants.
I grew up here. I grew up on a farm between Clifton and Cranfill's Gap.
I'm actually a fourth generation Norwegian. My great-grandfather immigrated to Texas in 1846.
Deep roots indeed, largely because of one man's influence, the father of Norwegian immigration, Kling Pearson, prominently displayed at the Bosque Museum. And beyond, FM 219, designated as part of the Kling Pearson Memorial Highway. You can experience 14 stops along the way, including Our Savior Lutheran Church, nearby on FM 182. And not just the historic church. Next to the church, the Our Savior's Lutheran Cemetery, and the tallest monument there, Kling Pearson's final resting place. And a memorial for the 17 original Norwegian settlers. The story of how they settled in Clifton is compelling.
The Daniel Boone of Norwegian immigration is a man named Kling Pearson, who began with a sail out of Stavanger, Norway in 1825, landed in the city of New York. He then continued to build a series of colonies across New York and the Midwest. He found out about free land being available in Texas, brought a group here and settled here and liked it so much here that he never started another colony, and that's why we refer to this as the last great Norwegian settlement in America, is because this is his final resting place.
Then there's places like St. Olaf's Lutheran Church, known as the Rock Church, a few miles up the road. Back along FM 219, the Ringnes House Museum. Touring the 6-room house that became a gathering place for the early settlers in the 1850s. Again, it serves as a museum today. Deep roots indeed for the early settlers' descendants. All honor the Norwegian legacy the previous generations passed along.
The hard work that everybody did in the past in our lineage to make these present day little miracles happen.
For someone of the younger generation, I think I definitely have a little more pride and a little more interest in the history of kind of the Norwegian heritage in the area.
People with interesting personalities, kind of taciturn, quiet, but still with a good sense of humor.
There's a very strong sense of pride and a very strong sense of family and a very strong sense of God.
So I think the work ethic as well as the morals as well as the religious, deep religious beliefs that came with the immigrants lives on here. I think it's manifest in the way the daily lives are conducted here. I think you see it in the businesses here. And I think that's what continues to attract people here.
When it comes to what they'd like to say to the early settlers, words of gratitude.
Thank you for your persistence, kindness. They were a gentle, spirited people, and we are very blessed to have had them come here and establish parts of this community and leave for us what we should be so very proud of.
You know, there are some very special places here in Clifton. You've seen them throughout Fox 44 News at 5:30 and 6, including downtown, the countryside, the great Norse heritage you have here, and again, the Maven, where we are right now. And this is a fabulous place downtown to have meetings, small parties, big parties. Look what we have, people gathered here right now. Simply a wonderful place. We'd like to thank the owners, Tracy and Jeff Bird, for hosting us here tonight. Now, not far away is another place that you've seen quite a bit from here, and it's one of the places that captures the essence of Clifton. We're talking about the Bosque Museum. Opened in 1954 as a nonprofit to preserve Bosque County's cultural and prehistoric heritage through education and public display. It originated with Jacob Olsen, a Norwegian pioneer who began collecting artifacts in the 1920s. In 1924, he donated his collection to the Clifton Lutheran College with the condition it remain in Bosque County. When the college closed in 1954, a nonprofit group established the museum in 1957. Since then, it's grown to nearly 8,000 square feet of exhibit space.
Our museum is incredibly place-based. There's a concept that you shouldn't be able to pluck a museum up and move it an hour away and have it make sense. And we're incredibly place-based. That horn shelter exhibit would make sense nowhere else other than right here in Bosque County.
In 1985, Olson's 1866 childhood log cabin was rebuilt on site and later received a Texas historical marker.
In Clifton, if you're looking for a place that brings a touch of big city dining to small town Texas, Olaf's Restaurant and Bar offers just that. Located on West 3rd Street, Olaf's features a full upscale menu that appeals to any craving, from flatbreads and salads to pan-seared chicken, salmon, and more. The restaurant is supported locally by 3R Farms, a Clifton operation that raises and feeds its own Wagyu and Angus cattle, supplying Olaf's with fresh Texas-grown beef. It's become a spot where Cliftonians and visitors alike can support a local business, rather a small one, and also enjoy big upscale flavor without leaving the heart of Bosque County. And what helps make our town Clifton a great place to call home and do business, it's a rich history. Two of those markers tell the story of the Olsen family log cabin and Clifton College. The Olsen family log cabin in Clifton offers a window into the area's Norwegian roots. Built in 1866 by immigrant Joseph Olsen, it was the family's home until 1872. Moved and restored in 1985, the cabin now teaches local children about Clifton's early settlers and their place in Texas history.
History comes alive through these on-hand exhibits or artifacts with a link to the past.
The Clifton College Administration Building has stood for over a century. Built in 1923, it first served students and faculty at the Lutheran College of Clifton. After the school closed, it became home to a manufacturing company for nearly 30 years. Since 1981, the building has continued to serve the community as the Bosque Arts Center. Well, there are so many unique places and experiences to show you for our town, Clifton. One of those experiences can be a night in jail, a real jail. Here's Fox 44's Vince Erickson.
When you stroll down Clifton's Art Alley, you'll see it. A name you can't miss. The Cell Block. A real 1930s era two-room jailhouse.
Rumor has it that this old jail had been here since about the 1930s, and it had been used as a jail, and then it was just after that, then people in the community came and played dominoes for a while, and then it just sat here vacant for quite a while until the city decided to talk about what they're going to do with it. And my mom, Kay Calloway, worried that they were going to tear it down, stepped in and said, well, I'll take it.
Melissa is the manager and was glad to open the jail door to show us what's inside. The jail cell bars still there, but what's on the other side is much more comfortable, high-end comfort.
We actually left a lot of everything the same, all the bars and the doors, and we try to keep it as original as possible. Obviously we cleaned out there's no cots, so there's a queen size bed, and we put in a shower and all the proper things you need to stay in a modern hotel.
Bars on the windows? Sure, leading to a bottle of wine. Meanwhile, the aforementioned dominoes? Check. A record player with records to add to the jailhouse ambiance. Oh, and there is AC. No worries about jailhouse heat. And lots of photos of folks who enjoyed a full boutique hotel experience wrapped up in Clifton's unique jailhouse past.
I just think it keeps the history, and it's really fun. I mean, the stories that we hear and the pictures, and I think it's just a really fun, unique experience for people when they visit Clifton, and it just it makes people smile and laugh.
Laugh? Okay. But what about spooky stories?
I'm sure there are some ghost stories if you dig deep enough, but I haven't personally heard any.
A fun experience, Melissa says, with a simple message to anybody who wants to add their photo to the cell block wall.
Just come enjoy a night in the cell block. Come have a night in jail and have fun.
Reporting from our town, Clifton, I'm Vince Erickson for Fox 44 News.
Melissa told us this morning the cell block will resume accepting reservations this coming Friday. You can learn all you need to know about the Cell Block Hotel at fox44news.com.
As part of our series, Our Town, we take a look back this week at some of the best athletes to come out of the Clifton community. And today features two football players that left a lasting impact here in Texas and beyond. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who did more than Bobby Joe Conrad. He led Clifton to back-to-back district championships in 1952 and was named first-team All-State at quarterback, becoming the first player to earn those honors. He then went on to attend Texas A&M, where he was a key part of the team's 1956 Southwest Conference Championship. He continued in the NFL with the St. Louis Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys, where he racked up over 5,900 receiving yards over 12 seasons, including All-Pro honors in 1963, where he caught 10 touchdowns. Conrad finished his career with 8 games with the Dallas Cowboys before retiring as a staple of Clifton football. Just a year before Bobby Joe Conrad entered the NFL, another Clifton star was born in 1957. Future Steelers running back Frank Pollard. He went north to Meridian High School, setting numerous state track records before going on to play collegiate football at Baylor before being drafted to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 11th round of the 1980 NFL Draft. There he became one of the few running backs tasked with replacing Steelers legend Franco Harris, totaling over 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns in 9 years in the NFL.
As we continue to celebrate our town, Clifton, we're going to feature all kinds of athletes that hail from Clifton, including Pro Rodeo Hall of Famer Jimmy Gibbs Monroe. Jimmy Gibbs Monroe was around rodeo her entire life and competed in her first rodeo at the age of 10, and she quickly became a star in the barrel racing world, culminating in a barrel racing championship in 1975. She now is officially a part of a handful of Hall of Fames, literally being enshrined in 5 different Hall of Fames, including the National Cowgirl Hall of Fame, the Texas Rodeo Cowboy Hall of Fame, the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame, the Rodeo Hall of Fame, and the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame, and will go down as one of the best barrel racers to ever.
Well, local businesses like Johnny's Place give Clifton the family-friendly environment that so many are looking for. Fox 44's Zoria Goodley spoke with one of the restaurant managers to learn more about this establishment.
Johnny's Place has been serving the Clifton community for over 2 decades, providing a warm and welcoming environment for families and residents to come together. According to Amy Sanchez, one of the current owners, the congenial hearts of the customers is her favorite thing to see.
Every day we'll have customers come in and they'll see their little friends and all that stuff, and then they'll be like, oh, I paid for them, so they don't have to worry about it, and then they continue to pass it on.
She says the support her family has gained from the community since they took ownership has been unimaginable.
I just can't explain it into words, that there's people who honestly really care for each other, you know what I mean? And that we built this on support from not just us, but from the community in itself.
As the Sanchez family looks forward to the next 20 years of Johnny's Place, they hope to keep the same loving connection with their Clifton community.
Come see us at Johnny's.
In Clifton, I'm Zoria Goodley, Fox 44 News.
Downtown Clifton is special in its own right, but there's a particular street called Art Alley that is vibrant, eclectic, and a showcase of individuality. I met with a local artist who tells me all about what makes it so unique and why it represents Clifton's contemporary art scene so well.
Why does anybody make art? They must create.
Meet Ann Thompson, a local artist who owns one of the longest-running art galleries in downtown Clifton. It's clear she knows art.
Art is about creation. Some things I don't know, I know that.
She takes me to a special street here called Art Alley, where local artists are able to showcase their work for all to see.
In 2014 is when it began, and there was just the excitement of having large art displayed that people could just walk through.
The vibe of the street and its murals are unmatched.
They're as unique as you and me.
Each piece exuding its own personality, eclectic, just like this town.
And they want that feeling that comes from young people being inspired.
And inspiration is what started all of this, with a well-known local artist painting her vision on these brick walls.
This is by Megan Morris, who is an amazing, amazing female artist. It's uplifting. Isn't that what art does for us? It lifts us out of ourselves and into our imaginations.
And on the opposite side, an intriguing creation with a completely different feel.
I think it's a play on the natural world with the physical world.
At the end of this alley, nostalgia hits Anne as she spots the space of her old gallery that stayed open for over 20 years.
Being a part of this, seeing it grow and seeing people come and enjoy it, it's all a part of the small town experience, but with a greater sense of being connected to the art world.
And also in Clifton, you can find a hidden gem for classic car lovers and history buffs in the town's 22,000 square foot Classic Auto Museum. Inside, you'll find a variety of vehicles on display: Corvettes, Thunderbirds, Pontiacs, all dating from the 1940s through the 1980s. But the museum offers more than just cars. Visitors can step into the Clifton Memories Room, featuring local history and memorabilia through the 1970s. There's also a newly added Golden Age gallery showcasing art and artifacts ranging from modern works to centuries-old pieces from Mexico and Central America, including items from the Olmec, Aztec, and Mayan eras. The museum is open Fridays and Saturdays and available by reservation.
Dan Campbell has endeared himself to the Detroit Lions fan base thanks to his hard-nosed attitude and his knack for risk-taking. But way before leading the Lions to the NFC Championship game, he was born in the city of Clifton, and he's today's feature for Our Town. Campbell was born in Clifton before spending his time in high school at Glen Rose, where he played running back and tight end. Then he went on to Texas A&M to play tight end before having a 10-year NFL career. And while he didn't set the world on fire as a player, he took over as the Detroit Lions head football coach in 2021 and immediately made his mark with a 39-28 record over 4 seasons with 2 playoff appearances in the past 2 seasons. He'll be making a look at make it 3 this year up in the Motor City.
It is our last day of Our Town Clifton, the series, and we'd like to honor one of the many things that sets Clifton apart from the rest, its dedication to the arts. Fox 44's Elizabeth Zena shows us more about the town's creative outlets.
From live theater and art exhibits to photography, music, and hands-on classes, the center continues to inspire and engage residents and visitors alike. A woman named Joanne Spieler, who was a visionary, felt the community needed an art center. And putting her plans into action, she made it come true.
In 1982, everything was formed. She went about getting her art patrons to be able to support the center. She went out and recruited artists to come into the area.
Formerly Clifton College, the building is now the Bosque Art Center, home to galleries, the 10 Theater, a performance hall, and community programs like the Culinary Club.
We may bring in a visiting chef to do demonstrations. We do some field trips sometimes to wineries or different things of that nature. But we offer a children's camp every summer, the Young Chefs program, where we teach kids how to be safe and cook in the kitchen.
The museum showcases work from renowned local artists, including Martin Greeley, born and raised in Clifton where he still lives, who says his desire to become an artist was a gift from God.
From the time I was very small, I really enjoyed drawing. I started doing watercolor paintings when I was probably in elementary school.
A renowned cowboy oil painter, Greeley's journey began in high school when he brought his artwork to a local frame shop and was inspired by the staff.
She said, you know, I might could sell some of these if you're ever interested. So I took one in and let her sell it. And she called me like within a day or two, and she had already sold it. So it was like, oh my gosh, you thought I won the lottery or something. It was just, yeah, it's a great feeling.
Another local artist, painter and sculptor Bruce Green, like Greeley, began drawing at a young age. But it was a visit to his aunt's house that first introduced him to painting.
I remember that day the light came on when I painted out there. I still remember 65 years later that effect that had on me, and it never quit, it never left. And to this day, I really can't go 3 days without I have to draw something or paint something. I have to scratch that itch.
The two artists grew close, bonded by the fact that they were both mentored by renowned painters.
Jim Bourne and Melvin Warren, who were great Western artists and shared their time with me to help instruct me and kind of grow me up as an artist.
Jim, I had a great personal relationship with. As I said, he mentored me directly, so I worked with him. He would critique my artwork for me. I would go out to his studio with some paintings, and he'd tell me what he saw in them, what needed to be better, and what I could change to do that.
Works by both artists, paintings, and sculptures are displayed inside the Bosque Art Center, with a life-size sculpture by Green featured prominently out front.
It's called Goats in the Garden, and it's a pioneer lady, and she's evidently found a couple of goats in her garden patch, and she's got an old broom over her head and fully intends to decapitate the goats. So a fun deal, and we got it right out there.
So yeah, to have some artwork of mine hung here, and there's several around representations of my stuff here, including this really old one back there. That's from when I first got going, but anyway. Yeah, it's a special place, and I'm very proud that it's here in Clifton, Texas, and it serves Bosque County in the way that it does.
Both artists are starred judges at the Bosque Art Classic and mentoring young artists to this day.
Two of Clifton's most historic places are so close together on the North Bosque River, they're almost within shouting distance, with both being major shout-outs to what helped make our town Clifton a great place to call home.
The sound and sights of the falls along Riverside Drive at the old mill site, looking downstream to where the mill was. Here is a look at the mill during its heyday. Its significance detailed on this historical marker at the site. And what remains of the Whipple Truss Bridge over the river on County Road 3112, with its storied past on a marker at the bridge.
The Whipple Truss Bridge, it was built in 1884 by the Wrought Iron Bridge Company out of Canton, Ohio for $6,400. And it was a link to Old Town Clifton to New Town Clifton. This bridge here was built as a means to get the people from one side of the river to the other. It was useful here, and it survived all of the dozens of floods here like the one that we're experiencing right now. For more than 130 years. It was dismantled and decommissioned in 2017.
Both the old mill and the functionality of the Whipple Truss, long gone. The legacy of both, hardly forgotten.
It's just a very important part of our heritage. The mill and the bridge, I would say, were the heart and soul of Clifton. And even though they're no longer here in the way that we loved them at one time, they're still a part of our history that people hold on to and treasure.
As we wrap up our coverage in our town of Clifton this week, we take a look back at some of the best to ever do it from the Clifton community across all sports. Few had a greater impact, though, in Central Texas than Texas A&M's own Pat Olson. Carl Edwin Pat Olsen was born in 1902 to a pair of Norwegian immigrants in Clifton, Texas. Olsen attended Texas A&M and pitched for the Aggies in the early 1920s, graduating in 1923 before signing with the New York Yankees. A roommate of Lou Gehrig during spring ball, Pat never made it to the big leagues to play in a Major League Baseball regular season game and retired in 1926. However, his love for the game of baseball, Texas A&M, and the Clifton community never wavered, giving back to those communities as a donor. In 1978, Texas A&M dedicated the baseball field as Olsen Field, as we've come to know it, a lasting impact that stood for nearly 50 years now, delivering countless Olsen magic moments even 25 years after Olsen's passing in 2000. That same magic lives on through Texas A&M baseball as Olsen's legacy stays cemented on the diamond in Aggieland.
Hearing the stories about how he donated, I think it was $1 million initially to put lights on the field in like '79, and to this day I still call it Olsen. And that's no slight, that's no offense to Bluebell Creameries, but in my mind it's just one of those habits that's always going to stick, is that this is Olsen, and you know, 25, 50 years from now there's still going to be a number of us that probably call it that.
So many of those moments, they all have his name on them still, even after he's gone. I mean, how incredible is that? There's no better word than legacy for that his name is still on so many things that capture our minds and emotions still today.
Not many players from Clifton stack up longevity-wise to Zach Duke. Duke was born in Clifton, but attended Midway High School, where he was selected straight out of high school in the 20th round of the 2001 MLB draft to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Duke made his major league debut in 2005 and went on to have a long career in the big leagues, playing his first 5 seasons with Pittsburgh before bouncing around to 9 different ball clubs in 14 seasons. Duke totaled a 69-91 record with a .431 ERA, racking up 854 strikeouts before his last appearance in 2019 for the Cincinnati Reds.